Hello everybody. So for the final lecture of this week, we're going to be doing harmonic dictation. Okay, so hopefully you haven't gotten rusty on this. We haven't done it in a couple weeks. We didn't do it in week 1 at all, but hopefully it'll all come back. So we're not adding anything this time. We're just kind of refreshing where we left off, which we got to a lot last quarter. So let's take a look at that. So we have almost all the diatonic possibilities in major and minor. So these graphs should look somewhat familiar. I didn't make these. I shamelessly stole them from the internet. We haven't done 3 yet, and we haven't gotten major 7. Okay, so you can ignore those chords, these here and that there. But we've gotten in major 6, 2, 4, 5. We also got 7 at the very end, and then 1. We also got in minor 6, 2 diminished, 4, 5, 7 diminished, and then 1. Okay, so we have most everything in terms of diatonic possibilities, which is great. Okay, now we have to refine them. And as this quarter progresses, we're going to eventually add 3, but ideally what we're going to do is make things more complicated and longer and make inversions more complicated, because as of right now, inversions have been relatively straightforward. So today's mostly a review day. We're not going to go crazy today. But in any case, this is where we should be at, okay? Remember that what this graph doesn't show you is that we also have deceptive cadences, half cadences. We could end on 5. We could go from 5 to 6 and so on. So before continuing, if you need to, go ahead and pause and remind yourself of where we are last quarter. So review any old notes or kind of remind yourself of some of the assignments. Solfege especially, because remember, some of these differences are subtle and it could be as different as 1 note. So the difference between 2 and 4, if you recall, 2 and 4 are only separated by a single note. Okay? Re is in 2, whereas 4 has do, okay? So some of those subtleties are going to be really important. Remember that the difference between 5, 7, a dominant 7th chord, and a 7 diminished chord, or, you know, the only difference between that is that we don't have sol. So this versus this, right? Subtle. It's a subtle difference. So I'm aware of the limitations of the keyboard, so I'm going to give you a little bit more information than I would have given you in previous times. Like I might do a listen where I separate out just the soprano and the bass. But in any case, nothing has changed in terms of requirements from last quarter. So I'm still only requiring soprano and bass, but I am requiring all of your Roman numerals with proper inversions. Okay, so I have 3 of these for you today. The first and final one are in keyboard notation, where we have a single bass note in the left hand and then 3 notes in the right hand. And the middle dictation is SATB, where we've got 4 notes that each voice lead on their own throughout. Okay? So let's go ahead and move on to the first one here. So, but before that, let's warm up. Ready? Let's just do a major scale. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, let's go ahead and do a minor scale. Let's do harmonic. 1, 2, harmonic. Ready? Okay, let's go up a half step. Pardon me. Spicier than I wanted it to be. Let's go ahead and do melodic. Let's do melodic minor. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our first one. So I'm going to give you 6 listens, and this first one's 5 chords. And as just a hint, they're all going to be 5 chords. You're going to get 6 listens for all of them. So I'm not going to give you a ton of time in between listens because this is review, and these aren't super crazy. Spoiler alert, I'm not going nuts with these. It's just to kind of get your ears back into this. What I'll do is, as a middle listen, the 3rd listen, I will give you just the bass and the soprano pitches. But for the rest of them, I'm going to give you everything as written, okay? So here we go. We're in major. Okay, here's your first chord. Okay. My pedal where it should be. Okay, there's your first chord. So I'm also going to try to lift as lightly as possible so you don't get this. Where it's like that kind of percussive, you know. I'm going to try to avoid that, but... you know, I'm working with what I got here. So in any case, here we go. C major, 5 chords, okay? Soprano, bass, Roman numerals, inversions. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, let's do listen 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do one more listen with all the voices, and then the 4th listen will be just soprano and bass. So here we go. At this point, you should hopefully know what cadence type we end on. You should have a fairly good idea, hopefully, of either your soprano or your bass, and some idea as to what your Roman numerals are going to be at this point, okay, if not more. So that's 2 listens. Here's listen 3. After this, we're halfway there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're halfway there. Let's go ahead. This is listen 4 of 6. I'm going to give you just the outer voices. So here's with everything. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut it off a little early. Sorry about that. Okay, 5 of 6. 2 listens to go. All the voices back again. So at this point, you should hopefully have a pretty good, if not complete, grasp of soprano and bass. Now we're just trying to iron out inversion and Roman numerals. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 6th and final listen. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, a bit of a pedal malfunction there. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this one a little bit. So, we don't end on 1. We don't end on 5. We have a deceptive cadence at the end. right? Because our bass goes to 6 instead of to 1, right? And we've got a minor sound overall, right? In addition, the 5 that precedes that, do we have a 5 or a 5/7? Listen for fa. We do, in fact, have a fa right there, okay? So let's take a look at this. Now, we start off with 1 and then continue with another 1, right? Your bass skips a third, so it's a first inversion, so a 1/6. Now remember that in your bass, if you see fa in the bass, that could either mean 4 in new position or 2 in first inversion. First inversion. In this case, you've got re in the soprano, so that's a giveaway, okay? But in any case, you've also got a minor sound, right? Minor versus this, right? Subtle, but different, okay? And that's basically the gist of that one. So hopefully that went okay for you, okay? Remember that you have access to lots more dictation examples and practice with McGammet, okay? In the meantime, let's go ahead and move on to another one. So, just like the last one, 5 chords, 6 listens, okay? This one is in G minor, and this one is in SATB voice leading. Okay? So, the voices are going to be spread out more, okay? So it might be easier to pick up soprano and bass, but it kind of depends. It'll probably be harder to pick up bass, but easier to pick up soprano, but, you know, who's to say? It all depends on your ears, okay? So in any case, this is listen 1 of 6. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do 2 of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, listen 3. After this one, we'll go ahead and do a just soprano and bass. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this listen, here's all the voices. I'm going to give you just this bass and soprano. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is listen 5 of 6. 2 listens remain. At this point, you should have a good idea of what our cadence is. you should have most, if not all, of the soprano and bass line and have a pretty good idea of Roman numerals, and we're just not polishing things up and catching inversions, okay? So here we go. 2 listens remain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do our 6th and final listen. Here we go, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this. So, we do in fact end on 1, okay? It's voiced differently, but we end on 1. What's curious about this, and it may have taken a couple times to realize, but hopefully you got there, that we only have 1s and 5s in this one. So, our bass line, right? The trickiest chord I would imagine would be the 2nd chord, because a 5-4-3 is pretty odd, but it's just getting us to a 1-6. Do we see that? Right? At the end we've got Fa, Me in the bass, right? Oh, it should be a 1-6 there, not just a 1. Okay? So 1, 5-4-3, 1-6, 5-4-2, 1-6. Again, I forgot the 6 there. Beg your pardon. Okay? Soprano ends on Do. Okay? Right? Your middle voices are pretty lame, which is perhaps why you didn't really hear them. Your alto never changes. And your tenor only does Do-Ti-Do. Okay? So all the action's happening in the outer voices. Right? Okay? So, hopefully you got all or most of that. Again, if you need more practice, we've got 1 more for today, but you also have access to McGammet now, too. Okay? So here we go. Final one, also 5 chords, also 6 listens. This one is keyboard voicing. Also minor, okay? So, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing as I've been doing. 3 listens blocked. 1 listen, just outer voices. 2 more listens blocked. Okay, ready? Let's go ahead and orient ourselves here. Okay, we got May up in the soprano there. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. I made a mistake in the bass. So hint, it wasn't that. So sorry, everybody. Made a mistake. Here we go. Try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, listen to 2 of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I believe this is lesson 4 of 6. I'll give you another listen. This is lesson 3 of 6. I'm so sorry. I should have been keeping track. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, for this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and give you just the outer voices. Bass, soprano. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this will be lesson 5 of 6, so 2 remain. Back to block chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do our 6th and final listen, everybody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so do we end on 1? No. Do we end on 5? No. We have yet another deceptive cadence. So remember that deceptive cadences are quite striking because it's like shifting a triad up a half step, okay? Because 6, its root is only a half step above 5, and it's of major sonority, right? Now this one is also tricky because we've got a 2 diminished chord, okay? So what's nice is that we've got re both in the bass and in our soprano, okay? So the diminished quality is hopefully just filled in by your own knowledge. So it's not obscured in the voice leading, but it is still a diminished sound. But then we leap down in the bass to sol, and then we have a good old cadential 6/4. Remember those? Right? But the thing is that we also have an A there. We've got fa, right? So it's a 5/7, not just a 5. Okay? So hopefully you got all or most of that. Again, if you need more practice or if you want individual help, just reach out to me and I'd be happy to give you some personalized attention during digital office hours. So let's go ahead and talk about how to practice this and moving forward. So by this point, this is the end of week 2. Okay? I'm not going to assign anything on Megamit for you yet, but hopefully Megamit is up and running. Now, I'm recording this in advance, okay? So I don't know if we've had any snags yet, but hopefully, if all goes well, we've got Megamit, it's up and running, and you can start working your way through the melodic and harmonic modules and start practicing. Remember that there's quizzes for mastery and there's practices, okay? So make sure that all the stuff that we talked about today at the beginning and also the things that we listened to, that you're completely confident with these harmonic possibilities, because next time we're going to go ahead and move forward. So next week we've got new material from chapter 12, okay? These will be, there's new melodic phenomena, but we're also going to talk about some new harmonic phenomena next week as well, okay? In addition, your homework should be posted to GouchoSpace right now for this weekend. It's another transcription from repertoire. At the time of recording, I haven't made it yet, but it should be on GouchoSpace right now. So, if you have any questions, as always, feel free to let me know. Brighter and bolder futures next week. The big takeaway from weeks 1 and 2 was a review of last quarter plus subdivisions as kind of rhythmic entities. So we should be able to move forward and forge on into chapter 12. Oh, pardon me. Whoops. And with that, we are all set. I will see all of you next time.